Hello YouTube. I'm just out tonight on a solo wild camp. I've come back to the place where you may have seen on my last video. It was a brand new place that we found locally. It's not too far from where I live. I've just come back here for a solo camp, a one-nighter tonight, and I've also been tagged by a guy called Dan at the Camp Life Bushcraft channel. If you don't know what tagging is, stick around and you'll find out a bit later. I'll come back to you once I've got up this hill, because I've got a bit of a hill to climb. See you in a bit. Still climbing the big hill, but this is what I love about this spot, is that the path is so overgrown that you can tell that nobody hardly ever comes up here, so it's the perfect place to have a quiet wild camp. Right, through the forest now. I've just walked through a copse of lovely, very majestic, old looking oak trees, and I was glad to get through up through the steep bit, really, because it's absolutely boiling today. It's sweltering and it was really hot inside the forest. It's early evening now, but it really kept hold of the heat of the day, you know. Right, it gets a bit vegetated from this point, so I've managed to find a little sheep track going through the windberry and the heather, so hopefully it'll make walking a bit easier to get the open ground of camp itself. Okay, there's camp over there. That's where I want to be. I overshot it slightly from the forest because I was following a map and there isn't a proper footpath to get to where I want to be. And the last time we came here, we walked in a different direction. We came in from the other side. So I'm just tramping over this very difficult ground, and hopefully when I get there it'll all be worth it. I can tell how dry it's been because I was only here a few weeks back, and that was a pond, and it's totally dried out. We've had a good couple of weeks of hot weather. Tent set up now. It's somewhere in that copse of trees there, and I've got a beer in hand. I'm going to go and perch myself on this higher ground here. There's a little rock that I'm going to perch on and get stuck into these questions that Dan has set me. Right, the first question was, what was your most memorable camp? Now, I think my most memorable camp probably was camping at Porthwen in Anglesey, which I've made a video about previously. That was one we went to last year, which was a fantastic Victorian ruin of a brickworks, which is right by the sea in a place called Porthwen in Anglesey. It's the White Port, it's called, and it's a place where they used to manufacture bricks right on the coast of Anglesey, where there was a very deep water so they could bring ships in, and it was abandoned and totally left to ruin, and now it makes a popular wild camping site. It's quite tricky to get to, and it can get a little bit misused by people wild camping. People go in there from boats and stuff, and they tend to have barbecues and make a bit of a mess sometimes and not take it with them, but generally it's a really cool place. I went there for the first time last year a couple of times, and it's a really stunning place. Okay, so the next question is, do I prefer solo camping or social camping? I must say I do most of my camping with other people, maybe one other person or two people. I do like the company. I like lighting a fire, having a few beers or a dram of whiskey, and having a good chat and a bit of a laugh. I do like solo camping. There's something very special about being out on your own, just absorbing the surroundings, especially if you're in somewhere special like this. But I think I do prefer the company of others. There she goes. Okay, my next question is, what is your favourite knife? Well, I think the only knife I've owned recently is this, which is a Hella Eggen, which is a Nordic knife. It's made in Norway, and it really is a lovely knife. It's a stainless steel blade, which isn't to everybody's taste, but I just find that it's that helps. You know, it's so easy to look after. It doesn't rust like other steels, so it doesn't need oiling, and this just really is a workhorse. Really, I've lit that stove just with a lighter and some feather sticks that I made with the knife. It comes in a nice little pouch, a nice little sheath, sorry, that goes on the belt. Saying that, I do like, I've just started a hobby of making knives, so I should really say that one of my own knives is my favourite knife. I have made one knife, and I'll put some pictures up of it now, so you can see, and that's a knife that I made with a blade that was already made, but I basically put the handle together out of Welsh oak and pieces of aluminium and green plastic running through it, running through the handle, to give it a sort of decorative effect. I'm currently working on another knife, and I'll probably make some more videos about the knife making, because that's a hobby, another hobby in itself. But generally this Hella knife, I'm really impressed with it, and I really like the ethos of the company. They still run, it's basically a family business that runs out of Norway. There's some videos on YouTube about them. They've got about 20 employees, and they're still making knives in the way that they've been making them for, 50, 60 to 100 years. It's really interesting stuff, so worth a watch as well. Now that the sun's gone down, I thought I'd better get my supper on the go. I didn't realise what the time was, and it's actually 10 to 10 now. Right, in case you wonder what I'm having for tea, so I've got some rice in the pan, it's cooking away. I've got some sliced roast red pepper, which is cooking on the burner, and I've got one of these silver containers, and in there I've got some salmon, which is marinating away in some lemongrass and garlic. So hopefully that's going to go on top after the rice and the peppers are cooked. Morning guys, there's camp there with my little tent tucked away. It's a nice quiet night last night, really peaceful, and what a beautiful place to wake up. one of the questions was, what stove do you prefer to use? And I got to say, that stove there, it's as you can see, it's very versatile. I was using it last night as a twig stove, burning dead wood, and this morning, rather than make a fire, I am using a mess burner in there, and the stove comes with a mess burner attachment, so you can get a little mess burner on the go without the need to light a fire in the morning. So that's definitely one of my favourite stoves. It's called the Honey Stove, and they sell it on the backpackinglight.co.uk website. Nice little family business run by Bob and Rose, who also run the Outdoor Station, which is an online podcasting radio channel. It's definitely worth a look, and that's a lovely little stove. I also use an MSR pocket rocket and a jet boil. They're great for boiling water really quickly, but not much use for much else. You can't cook on them using the main attachments, but I use them in winter more often. There's something very special about having wood smoke at a camp, I think. You get that really nice campfire feeling. Do I carry a bug out bag? Well, I had to Google what was a bug out bag, and it's these prepper people, the survivalists that think that the end of the world might be coming, so they pack a rucksack full of what they need to survive in the wild. Well, no, I don't think that's me. The end of the world probably isn't coming for a few thousand years maybe, so I don't bother packing a bug out bag. But if you do, feel free. My favourite piece of kit is this. It's the Silky Ultra SL 240. It's an amazing saw. It makes very light work of sawing wood. It's a Japanese saw, and what's a pull saw? It's called a pull saw, so it cuts on the pull stroke rather than on the push stroke, and that means that you get really straight, fast cuts, and it's really good. It's not too heavy. It's made out of metal, but it's really comfortable to use, and will be a fine addition to anybody's pack. Where did I first learn bushcraft? I wouldn't really call myself a bushcrafter. I'm more of a mountain wild camper, although I do like to spend time in the forests, and I do like to cut wood, dead wood, make a fire and cook food on the fire. But as far as bushcraft, that's probably about it. I probably picked up those skills from friends, watching YouTube videos, that kind of thing, reading a few books, and that's, you know, building the fire safely and starting fires and that kind of thing. Just found this feather lying on the ground, and I think it's a buzzard feather, and a buzzard is one of the biggest birds around here, bird of prey, dominant bird in the area. I'm not really a bird watcher, but you can't miss buzzards flying around, because they sort of hover around and glide like eagles in the sky around here. If that's not a buzzard feather, let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure it is, but as I say, if anybody knows better, let me know. Just walking down now, going back to the car. The weather's warming up again now, the sun's out, and it's going to be a warm one again, I think, really. So we've been quite lucky with the weather lately. So the last question I was posed by Dan was, what is your favourite fire lighting method? I'm not too proud to say that I always use a lighter. I sometimes carry a fire steel, and I'll take that with me, but generally I use a lighter, and I'll take some cotton wool dipped in Vaseline as an accelerant, like a homemade fire lighter, or sometimes cotton wool set in melted wax, which is again homemade, because I like to start a fire quickly. Last night I didn't pack any of the fire lighters, so I made a feather stick with some twigs and then got the fire started that way, just with a lighter. So that's generally what I use to start a fire. Right, now for my tags. Here's my chance to get somebody else out of their comfort zone, as it were. I don't usually talk as much to camera myself as I did today, so thank you, Dan, for nominating me on that one. Right, okay, so the first channel I'm going to nominate is another guy, really good channel, North Wales Bushcrafters. Trevor, your tag please, thank you. Another guy who is a bushcrafter, Rick T Outdoors, really good videos. All these are channels that I would really recommend, by the way, and I'll put links to them in the description box on this video. So Rick T, let's see you answering the questions. Outdoors lifestyle, Steve. I know you're not so much a bushcrafter, but I do know you love the wild camping. So maybe if you could answer those questions relating to, and put it towards wild camping, because I'm not really a bushcrafter myself, and some of the questions are bushcraft orientated. Circa 77. Great little channel, I like watching his videos lately, so if you wouldn't mind obliging, questions coming out to you. And then finally, quite a new channel, really good Snowdonia videos. Mark's gone walking. Mark, thanks for the shout outs lately, much appreciated. Really like watching your videos. If you could also answer the questions. Again, I know you're not generally bushcraft, but the questions can be adapted for sort of wild camping usage. Okay, look forward to seeing your replies, guys. I'll tag all the videos and the channels, all their channels, in the box below.